Well, hello and welcome back to Moments with Moni. I'm so glad you're here, where you can find practical help for the heart and home as we ponder life from a biblical perspective, as well as a weekly digital dose of discipling to help equip us to be better effective in the opportunities that God places before us to further His kingdom. My Cancer Journey, Part 2. Hi there, it's Moni. Just thought I'd come back and share a little bit more of the cancer journey that I had to go through last year. I remember taking some notes, putting them in my phone every time I thought about something, and so I'm referring back to that, trying to remember exactly what happened. I started here on the first infusion on 8/24/23, and preparing for that was quite difficult, emotionally difficult, trying to figure out what it is I was going to have to deal with and how to prepare for it. So I was thankful my son and daughter-in-law had given me a nice big, beautiful bag, like a beach bag, and I just stuffed everything in there that I looked on the internet that others said that you needed. And pretty much they were right. You need a nice big lap blanket, a pillow, some ice packs that helps with neuropathy in the future to ward the neuropathy off. And it helps if you have allergic reactions like I did and you get overheated. Some cough drops and, I have some mullein that has to do with helping the lungs breathe better. A lot of different things. But, those are all my things for comfort. The chemical cocktails that they give you really cover all of those things. So at first, you really don't feel bad at all. In fact, the day before, I was given a pill that I was supposed to take. It was a steroid pill. And boy, you feel good on that for a while. I could do everything, but I learned do not do everything because you will feel it later. Just enjoy feeling good for a while, for a day or two. It was a roller coaster. Every time you went in, it was 3 weeks at a time. You go in for your first pre-med cocktail and everything they give you, but you're on steroids for a few days, and that helps, and a lot of other meds. And then you tank, and then you tank harder. And then you start to feel better just before your next appointment, and then you have to go back in and you start that roller coaster ride all over again. So the medicine that I had to take was called carboplatin and Paxil. It was a 1-2 punch, but they gave me all kinds of other things before that. It was a liquid Benadryl cocktail and other things that, boy, enough to knock a horse out. And I told them, I'm a lightweight when it comes to meds. But they didn't believe me at first until I started telling them, I'm seeing things over there. It looks like there's lights running, like Christmas lights that are running around the window. And they were playing with me. I never took drugs. So when I started explaining, they looked at me like, where? Tell me, where? They just played with me. It was later on I realized that, but at the time I was high on these things. At that point, it was needed because this stuff is ugly. And for that probably 2 to 3 hour time period, it was good to have those things to keep you in check. But anyway, it took, 3 hours plus from the first time they started to plug me up with chemicals to the time I had to leave. They had to do one and then the other and do it in order and give me, I had something that gave me hallucinations. That's what I was talking to you about, the lights that I was seeing around the windows. I remember having that on remdesivir when they gave that to me when I had COVID the year before. My goodness. Yeah. When I was in the hospital for that, I was seeing it with my eyes closed, but I was semi-awake. It was like little red round lights with whites in the center running around the shapes of things in the room. My brain also noted that the last infusion bag hanging was red, but it didn't register as an allergen. Actually, I found out later it was white. It was clear. I mean, it was just my brain that was messing with me. Thankfully, the nurses were really good, and the infusions, the needles, none of that hurt. Anyway, I finished the first infusion and went to radiation to consult consult a doctor there right after the first infusion because we had to drive an hour away to Little Rock. So we tried to get two birds killed with one stone there rather than having to drive all the way again. Just to check into that, we drove home, had some familiar food, some taco salad. We have a place here in town called El Tapatio, and the people there are so wonderful, and I still eat the same thing, my chicken fajita taco salad. It's wonderful and so tasty. You got to go see Lolly there or Chico and order some good Mexican food here in Arkansas. But anyway, that's one of the things that really helped me, along with the outpouring of love and attention that I got from church and family and neighbors. I did take some more allergen pills like Zysol when I got home, but they also gave me some anti-nausea meds and a few more steroids for the next few days. But on day 2, the night after, I woke up from a zap of pain in my foot, and my mouth was foaming and I was wheezing. It was awful. So I don't know what was wrong, but something with the meds were bothering me, but the Benadryl helped. So I calmed down and kept going. But I realized in a few days later what was happening. I was having allergic reactions to the anti-nausea med. Every time I took it, 20 minutes later, I started experiencing diaphoresis. That's what they call it. It's like a sudden sweating, just perspiration pouring out of you and shaking and nausea. It was just, it gave you all the symptoms of having a nauseous reaction to it, but it was actually that medication that was doing it to me. So we finally, after days of trying to figure out what that was, having a fan blown on me because I was so hot and trying not to throw up, and sorry, too much information there for you. But thankfully, I never did. Not one time did I lose it throughout the entire 6 months of chemo and all the medications. I'm so thankful for that. I hate to do that. Cancer's bad enough. You don't want to have that on top of it. But on the other end, on my side, there was a lot of other things that I was doing to give myself the nutrients that I needed, because I knew all of this stuff, the chemo drugs are going to kill off. They actually kill off your blood supply. In down to the bone marrow. So you're basically killing everything inside of you, and it has to replenish in the future. From the nutrient side, I started adding, not all at once at every meal, but incorporated a lot of these things like pea protein powder, flaxseed, chia seed, apricot seeds. I started with 3 and then worked my way up to 30. But you have to be careful with those because they could be dangerous to you. You have to start with a small amount and work your way up. And any of these things, start with a small amount, work your way up with a little bit more to see what kind of a reaction you have to them. I also used walnuts. They're good for the brain. Vitamin C powder, inulin, collagen powder, carrot juice, water, electrolytes, ginger. Oh, ginger was just in my water, in a candy, in a lozenge. Ginger was wonderful to have on hand. All kinds of things. And most of all, resting. If you can rest, because after that steroid wears off, after those first 3 days of steroids, you drop hard. At least I did. I know everybody's journey in this way is going to be different, but I dropped extremely hard, and it was difficult for me to even get up when I needed to. But that's okay, because they said rest. Get up and do when you feel like it, but rest in between. Thankfully, my husband was so good in helping me. And due to his job, allowing him to work at home, he was able to take care of me in between phone calls and at the house. So I was very thankful for that. Somebody was always here. When I felt like it, there was some time for fresh air out on the back porch. It was about 100 degrees or more that week, but and 80 degrees humidity. That's pretty warm, but it felt good. I'm just thankful to be able to get outside at this point. I did not go to church during that time. I stayed home and thankfully watched it online. They were able to have a online church service. So when I felt good, my husband could go in and play guitar. He's on the worship team or bass or whatever they have him play. He could do it all. Thankfully, but I guess during that time, he really didn't. He took some time off because I really needed him at home. But as time went on and I kind of knew what to expect, he was able to go back in a few times and help throughout the month. Oh, there was one note here regarding my blood labs. Those were wonderful. I had to go in every week, which was not wonderful, but I had to go in every week to a local doctor, and they would run some blood tests for me. And it would cover everything, every minute thing inside of my blood. So they would send that information to Little Rock, and I would get reports online. So I knew what needed to be done. I would check my red blood cell level, white blood cell level, iron, vitamin B, vitamin D, everything. I forget now everything that was on there. But it was wonderful to have that, because that way I knew how to address my diet or the supplements that I was using. And then, of course, there's that one thing that you always hope never happens, but it does with these kinds of meds. It was about a week before my hair started to fall out after starting the carboplaxin and the Taxol, whatever it was called. And within a week, it was gone. My beautiful long hair. I've always had long hair. Ever since it grew out when I was a child, I had long hair. But that's the way it goes. Vanity of vanities. Thankfully, my sister-in-law gave me some of those head covering things. My head was very tender. That's not something I didn't really expect or hear about. So it was nice to have those really soft, silky head covers that covered my hair when we had to go out to the doctor's offices or anything else. It was nice to have it covered, to feel, and it had the tie scarves that came down over my shoulders that were attached to it. So I felt at least like I had long hair with that hanging around my neck. It's just 3 weeks shy of that day a year ago where I lost all my hair. And let's see, I think I've got maybe 3 inches of hair now. It's going to take a while for it to get long again, but such is life. Keep moving on, eh? I'm very thankful for all the prayers that many of you sent up for me, for my husband, and thank you for your cards and your letters. I was very thankful to have an online devotional digital fellowship time with a group of people at Everyday Outreach. And it was good to have that fellowship during a difficult time when I could do nothing else. One of the verses that God showed me during this time was Psalm 56, verses 3 and 4. It says, "On days when I'm afraid, I will put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I put my trust. I will not fear what mortal man can do to me." No matter what the enemy dishes up, we are in God's hands. Whether we live or die, we are safe in his hands. So, I guess I still have work to do on this side of heaven. God left me here, and until then, here, there, or in the air, I hope to see you again soon. Blessings.
Was growing darker as I looked out my window tonight, and just like my depression, those clouds were blocking the light. And as I prayed for the wind to come and chase those clouds away, the light came with the thunder, and then it started to rain. I know we all have our share of problems, we get into these situations that leave us feeling awkward at best. But the rain will come and the rain will go. When it does, it's anyone's guess. So we gotta push on, just keep on being strong, for it's all a part of the test. Sometimes I look to the sky and I ask him, why does this happen to me? I've tried to be faithful and follow your word, but this is getting the best of me. Then in a revelation I see his face smiling as he says, just keep doing your best, I'll help you pass this test, and it will make you stronger. You'll see. Time heals all wounds, they say, and I believe that it's true. And situations can seem to take care of themselves as long as we follow them through. For the Lord has a way of making things work out, so put your cares to rest. For if your heart is true, Jesus will carry you. You know it's all a part of the test. Sometimes I look to the sky and I ask him, why does this happen to me? tried to be faithful and follow your word, but this is getting the best of me. Then in a revelation I see his face smiling as he says, just keep doing your best, I'll help you pass this test, and it will make you stronger. Oh, it will make you stronger. Yes, it will make you stronger.